Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a book with a title that I think we can all relate to sometimes, Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson. We're going to unlock the secrets that have helped millions finally figure out how to communicate better.
So let's just start with this, because I know you've been there. You're trying to explain something, it seems so obvious, so crystal clear in your own head, but the person you're talking to is just looking at you with a blank stare. It's like you're speaking two completely different languages. So frustrating, right?
Well, here's the big idea at the heart of this book. And it's actually pretty simple, but so powerful. What if those people aren't being difficult on purpose? What if they're not idiots at all? What if it all just comes down to style? The book suggests we all kind of have a primary color that defines how we act and communicate.
And that brings us to the core of the whole system, this four-color code. It's a really simple key for decoding human behavior. Now, it's based on a well-known psychological model called the DISC system, but the colors just make it so much easier to remember and use in your actual everyday life.
So this whole color framework, it's not just a tool for figuring other people out. It's also about understanding ourselves. It breaks down all that complex psychology into four main personality types. And trust me, once you learn them, you'll start seeing these colors everywhere you look.
All right, so here's the cheat sheet for the whole system. You've got your dominant reds, who are all about results. Then the inspiring yellows, who are driven by people. You have the steady greens, who value stability above all else. And finally, the conscientious blues, who run on facts. Each one has a totally different way of communicating.
So you're probably already wondering, okay, which one am I? Well, let's get to know each of these personalities a little better. As we go through them, I guarantee you'll start recognizing not only yourself, but pretty much everyone you know. First up, let's talk about the Reds. These are the bold, ambitious, natural-born leaders. They are the go-getters, the ones who are laser-focused on getting results, and fast.
So, what does a red look like in action? Well, they make decisions in a snap. They absolutely love competition, and they have no problem taking charge of a situation. Their communication style is super direct, sometimes to the point of being blunt. They just don't have time for fluff.
And I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Reds are not here to drift along quietly. They're here to change the course of the river.
Okay, next up we have the absolute life of the party. The vibrant, optimistic, and super social yellows. These are the people fueled by other people, by positivity, and by endless possibilities.
Yellows are the ones who can talk to absolutely anyone. They build relationships effortlessly, and their energy is just infectious. They can light up a whole room. They're all about connection and inspiring others with their big ideas.
This is pure yellow energy in a sentence. Their approach to life is just so spontaneous and fun-loving. If an idea sounds exciting, they are 100% in, no questions asked.
All right, now for the most common personality type of them all, the greens. These are the calm, dependable, and incredibly supportive people. Honestly, they're the glue that holds teams and families together.
Greens are just so reliable. They're amazing listeners, and they really prioritize keeping things stable and harmonious. They are patient, they are kind, but they really, really don't like conflict or sudden changes.
And I love this because it really speaks to their quiet strength. In a world that's packed with loud reds and chatty yellows, the steady, supportive presence of a green is what keeps everything in balance. It's essential. And finally, rounding out our foursome, we have the blues. These are the analytical, methodical, and super precise perfectionists. They're driven by facts, by logic, and by a deep need for things to be done correctly.
Blues are very cautious. They're the ones who need all the information before they make a decision. For them, it's all about quality over speed, every single time. They want to see the data, check the facts, and make sure everything is perfect.
This phrase is pretty much the life motto of a blue personality. For them, getting every single detail right isn't just a nice-to-have, it's an absolute necessity.
Okay, so you have these four very different personalities. Now, what happens when you put them all in a room together and tell them to work on a project? Well, that's where things get really, really interesting.
You can totally see how some combinations just click, right? The fast-paced reds and yellows often feed off each other's energy, and the more thoughtful greens and blues can find a really comfortable, quiet rhythm. But the real lessons are in those challenging pairs. A red's let's go now attitude can totally overwhelm a green, and a blue's need for every little detail can feel like a total buzzkill for a big picture yellow.
But here's the thing. The whole point of the system isn't just to label people or put them in boxes. It's to give us the tools to actually connect with them in a much more effective way.
And this brings us to what is maybe the single most important lesson in the entire book. If you want to be understood, you have to stop talking in the way that you like to be talked to and start talking in the way your listener needs to hear it. It's all about adapting your style.
And the book makes it super simple to put this into action with a 3-step process. First, you just observe. Try to identify the other person's dominant color. Second, you flex. You adjust your style. Be more direct for a red, more personal for a yellow, more patient for a green, more detailed for a blue. And then, third, you connect. And you'll see how much better the outcome is. So, in the end, this whole system is really about making one huge shift in how we see things. It's about moving away from judgment and towards curiosity. The question stops being, why is this person being such an idiot? And it becomes, okay, how can I understand them better? And that shift right there, that might be the most powerful communication tool we have.